They lit the screen with broken cries, missing faces, hollow eyes. Said they'd save the world one click at a time, but their halos cracked, now it's all for the climb. I see through the glitter, the scripted despair, truth buried deep, do they even care? I won't sell my soul for a view. They lit the screen with broken cries, missing faces, hollow eyes. Said they'd save the world one click at a time, but their halos cracked, now it's all for the climb. I see through the glitter, the scripted despair, truth buried deep, do they even care? I won't sell my soul for a view, won't trade my morals for something untrue. They play the game, I walk alone. Clickbait, shadows can't claim my throne. Their cameras roll, the tears are fake. A tragedy's just a chance to take. I hear the whispers, the stage concern, but justice isn't something you can burn. I stand in the storm, the noise all around, while their empathy's lost, profits abound. I won't sell my soul for a view, won't trade my morals for something untrue. They play the game, I walk alone. Clickbait, shadows can't claim my throne.
They sit with a mic in a neon glow, telling tales of where dark secrets go. They twist the truth like taffy in hand, turning real pain into clickbait demand. Crime scene clowns, making it up, spinning their webs in a paper cup. Are they actors or are they crooks, hiding their tracks with suspicious looks? Whoa! One's got a smile that's way too wide, another's got skeletons they can't hide, missing kids on a a thumbnail spree. But they're just here for the ad money. Hey y'all, smash that like they say. While justice keeps slipping away. Crime scene clowns making it up, spinning their webs in a paper cup. Are they actors or are they crooks? Hiding their tracks with suspicious looks. Momming it up, she's calling it out. Truth in her words, no shadow of doubt. While they rehearse their scripted screams, she's digging deep into real themes. Crime scene clowns making it up, spinning their webs in a paper cup. Are they actors or are they crooks? Hiding their tracks with suspicious looks. Crime scene clowns making it up, spinning their webs in a paper cup. Are they actors or are they crooks? Hiding their tracks with suspicious looks. Momming it up, she's calling it out. Truth in her words, no shadow of doubt. While they rehearse their scripted screams, she's digging deep into real themes.
Lights flashing and the shadows glow. Truth buried under plastic show. Kids are lost, but the ratings grow. Scripts in hand, hearts on ice, selling pain with a sugar slice. How low can you go? How low can you go? Turning tears into a twisted show. I won't play, I won't stoop low, so I stand alone. Yeah, I stand alone. Yeah, I stand alone. Playing games with the raw and real, spinning lies like a Ferris wheel. Morals bent like a dollar bill. Fake the pain, sell the thrill, but I see through the bitter pill. How low can you go? How low can you go? Turning lives into a freak show glow. I won't
Hey,
break.
Tammy. Secrets in the Dark and Paperclip.
Yeah, I stand alone. Yeah, I stand alone.
How are you guys? I'm so happy to be able to get on and have a quick chat with everyone. Unfortunately, I was not streaming on Mammon, and that's normally where all of this Crama genre stuff seems to go on, really. Oh, let me take my double off the stage here. But yeah, I mean, I've been catching up on some emails and, I've sat on my hands whistling on a lot of things for a really long time because I didn't really want to kind of make any comments on stuff. I was trying to navigate and, I was like, I like the creators that I like. And I mean, let's be realistic. Who has time to watch all of this? Like, how are you supposed to know what somebody said yesterday, let alone what they said a year ago or 2 years ago, right? It's like so bizarre. Um, but lately I'm like, this is just ridiculous. I mean, it's so odd to me, like how it just seems so, a lot of it just seems really fake, you know? It's like so outlandish and it just seems really fake and just gross. Like, sorry, but I don't want to know about people's real lives off of YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or Meta or X or Rumble or wherever anybody's streaming. Unless there's some sort of like imminent emergency in which I don't really even know how you would go about that. I'm sure there's a specific process. It's not our job to know what's going on. You don't know if somebody's acting. You don't know, like, you're watching them or you're listening to them on the internet, So it's like, it's just too bizarre to me. And if I heard somebody that I enjoyed listening to and it gave me a laugh or I was learning something or whatever it is, then I'm going to listen to that person. And I've always said that. And I can't believe these conversations are even something that we're like having, you know? It's just really bizarre. I mean, I got like emails about I stand with this one and I stand with that one. And I'm like, hey, I hope that anybody that wants to follow me and hang out on any of the channels, that I have, whether we're talking about true crime or whatever it is that we're talking about and doing, I hope we can kind of stand alone because, to be blunt, I don't really know if there's any channels left that I would even really associate to because I don't like some of the shit I've heard. Do I know the person? No, right? If you don't know them, then it doesn't matter. But I'm not going to be put into nobody should be put into a category of picking anybody or a side when you're listening to content. You shouldn't have to, unless you're in a contract and it's a production and everybody's trying to play Uno and swap people around and all the things that, I don't really understand how they ever fell into a missing child because a lot of us watch some of these, all the channels really, because they were talking about missing kids and they were interviewing different parents and it seemed genuine, right? It didn't seem like a production. It didn't seem like a reality TV show from the pits of hell. Because, in all honesty, to me, some of these people have like really gone to the bottom of the barrel. It's just gross. Absolutely paperclip. It's weird, to say the least. But it's like, sure, you can listen to somebody one day and you're enjoying what they're saying. And then the next day, it's like, well, now I want nothing to do with talking about somebody being abused as a child, whether it's real or not. I don't want, that's not something I'm going to spend my afternoon supporting and listening to, not interested. And then you have other creators, that I was listening to. I really like this lady named Jason, and I've watched her for a while. And she was talking about legal definitions. People are arguing about legal definitions. And like this is so bizarre to me that this is actually taken. People took time to email me about this. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk. I mean, literally emails upon emails because I comment in a chat. Isn't that strange to you guys? Like, isn't that weird to you that anybody would give a shit about where you chat on the internet? Isn't that strange? Can you imagine taking even a millimeter of a second of time in somebody's day? I would not waste my time. I can't, time is so valuable. I just can't even imagine that. Oh, this person was in this chat room. Oh, that person's over there. Like, don't these people have lives? And then I think to myself, some people do. Obviously, they're getting paid. But holy shit, it's so stupid. And how can anybody say if somebody's on drugs? You don't know if somebody's on drugs. You have no idea. How would you know? And when would it ever be okay for 5, 10, 15, 20 channels to talk bad about one channel over and over, and you don't think that eventually it's not going to end well? That every person that participates in a dog pile isn't going to have it reversed and turned right onto them because it's not natural. None of this looks good. It's awkward to even think that there is a production that's being made in front of people's faces, and bits and pieces of it are going to be used to humiliate people in a ridiculous game that nobody even knew they were a part of. And then you're taking the time from people that have mental health issues that are really buying this horse shit, and they're emailing people and they're worried about people. That's the thing that's strange to me. The emails that I had because I made a comment in a different person's chat. None of these channels even have like 20,000 subs. There might be, most of them, I think, were botting everything. I mean, come on, you get a channel, it's brand new, and you have 7,000 subs. Like, you think we don't know you bought them? Come on. It's classic manufactured content. But this is gross. And they have other people, they come on and they're crying. And I mean, these freaking people were talking about a missing kid. And now they're on there talking about the only decent people like Chris McDonough and Dr. Barry on how they go on the lab and how they go on Josh. And it's like, oh, I mean, he's probably part of the production too. I'm just saying, you know. And but out of everybody, I like his content. You know, when I'm looking into cases and trying to learn some information, I know it's not going to be made up. I know I'm not going to be learning about a missing kid and hear about somebody talking about squirting their lemon juice on people. No, sorry, not going to that guy's show. Don't want to hang out with a guy that wants to talk about squirting lemon juice on anybody or plays a drunk character. It's just not my interest. So if that means I am not accepted into other channels because I didn't sign on to the production and I wasn't given an Uno card, that's friggin' fine with me because I say fuck all this shit. I think there's something wrong with so many of these people at this point that it's not even funny. Because YouTube and TikTok and Instagram should never go into people's real lives. And because I was actually having a lot of weird stuff going on in my real life, I didn't come on here. I wasn't talking. I didn't want anything to do with it because it's weird. It's odd. It's odd to benefit off a missing kid's case. It's odd to ride the coattails of a missing child to grow a channel. It's weird, you know? So I kind of didn't really use mom in that much because I was trying to figure out how can I be comfortable talking. And you really couldn't be comfortable talking because every time you did, you thought real people that were nice were trying to be nice and they're trying to help you, but really they're just trying to tell you what to say, right? Because they're all making money off of it. I mean, I don't know how everybody can sleep at night, but I think once Netflix starts debuting and all of this shit is out in the open, it'll make a lot of sense. I think eventually it will. And you know what's sad? These same creators that are fighting and talking about childhood trauma and DV and people with addiction problems and people saying that they're blaming people like Josh, pretending, oh, I didn't want to live anymore because of what you were doing to me on your little YouTube channel. You know what's going to happen? They're going to actually start talking about the missing kid again at this pig fest. It's gross. It's so gross. It's so gross. It's really gross. And my give a damn broke a long time ago. So Yeah, this is my answer to all the emails. You can save them. Okay. Don't call me. Don't email me. You're all a bunch of fake fucks. Okay. So this is Mommin, X rated, Mommin unhinged. I've been very nice and I've had it. So if it offends you that I buy a membership to a character's channel, shove it where the sun don't shine, because I'm going to go where I want to go. I'm going to talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. And I think everybody that is using a missing kid in the way that they have is gross. I think it's gross. Sorry, not sorry. It's gross. And I think it's horrible that somehow I got stuck into a Crama genre because I did not have a damn clue that everybody was playing a game. I had no idea. I literally thought that people were trying to raise awareness on a local missing vulnerable child that could have, God knows what could have happened. So, paperclip and all of you that probably don't have a clue what I'm talking about, because the Mom in It Up channel is the channel that all the true crime stuff we were talking on, and you know, that go over there and hop around and you'll see. Hello, Casey, how are ya? I hope all is well. I hit the 18 and above tonight because I knew I was going to cuss a little bit. I was going to read some of the emails, but I don't see that. I don't think there's any point. I just don't understand how anybody thinks that people should be attached to where they say hello in a chat. I think it's really bizarre. It's really bizarre because I don't really want to be in any of the chats anymore. I don't know. I think it's really unbecoming to, it's just weird. The whole thing is weird. Oh, you're not alone. There's so many of us. We've either been blocked or we stay in the bushes. But a lot of it, I don't know. Without the botting, I think, and when the productions aren't like in play, I think a lot of people just tuned out a long time ago. I do. I think once people start to realize that something's not real, it's like really kind of like, what's the point? We could watch a good Netflix or call a friend or go somewhere else. You're in the trees. I like to say hi every now and then, you know? There's certain creators that I just like them, and unfortunately, sometimes some of the stuff is just too outlandish, and I'm just like, oh, I can't with that. That's just too much. No. But there's no reason to draw attention to it. I do agree, like saying stuff like, oh, I don't want to watch you. I think this is horrible. Like, nobody cares, why bother? Unless you're trying to help them make some money and you're trying to help them so that when the channels are all gone, they have some extra cash. Because that's what it's turned into. It just helps everybody keep the cash flow going for a little longer. Just a little longer. But I have been enjoying certain channels because I like to, I think a lot of us are like that, right? Especially since we had the lockdown days, um, where so many more of us are remote working or we're caregivers. I mean, we already have a large community of stay-at-home moms and retirees and stuff, and we're all online, right? We want to interact with people and talk to people. At least for me, that's what I enjoy. So finding places that you can have, common conversations, not that you need to know who the person really is, right? Because you're not going to, some people don't even know who they married after 50 years. I mean, we've all seen that stuff on true crime, right? But just that you want to be able to talk to them and have something in common. So when you find out like it's all a charade, it's weird, It's just weird. See, I don't think there's a lot of people left, mom of three boys. I think everybody kind of tanked themselves. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of real people left. There's a lot of exciting drama that people participate in, right? We all watch it. This stuff is just gross. Like, I don't think anybody is better than anybody else, but you'd have to watch it enough to catch when they say something really like out of this world. If you don't catch it, you don't know. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I was told a long time ago that they're doing a whole Netflix on true crime and YouTubers and all this stuff. And I'm like, this shit is not gonna like work. Like if it really was actually a thing, this is gonna tank. It's not believable and it's not, and it's like it's just gross content. Even if you have a creator that's been grifting for years, everyone's a grifter on here. I mean, you have the what was that guy? I didn't want to say anybody's names because I don't want to um I mean, they all have come out, whether they're crying and they're using their stepkid or they're using their, oh, I lost my contracts for Verizon and so many different things. Nobody is on here that I've seen anyway that's not making money off of everything and everyone. So they're all the same. But I'm like, this is not going to look good. If you have a whole bunch of people going at one person, that never ends well. It also doesn't look good if you just don't shut the hell up and move on. My God, it's the internet. You'd think it was like mainstream, networks. Nobody, hardly anybody's watching. Hardly anybody's watching. Well, that's the whole trick of it, Casey. I realized a long time ago was that when somebody was doing the cloning stuff, I was like, what is this? Why are people allowing that? And I was like, oh, this is weird. At least there's other communities that I've watched certain things. So I have met some people from this algorithm, from the pits of hell, as I call it, this Crama algorithm that sadly got attached to those last couple kids from Tennessee that are missing, threw us into this algorithm. But I have watched some of the channels where it's not bad, you know, it's not terrible. At least it's fake in a way. Well, how do you have a community that you're a part of if you don't know what they're going to say from week to week and what side's going to switch to the next side? You know how many people I've heard saying, "Oh, I was on break at that time. Oh, I wasn't here at that." Like people are talking as if they're doing a job. It is the weirdest thing. Like, I don't know. How would you even pick a side if you don't know what you're even enjoying anymore? If the creators change their opinions or their personality or who they are, like I like listening to some of the stuff that this one lady does, and then it just today I was like, wait a minute. I was thinking about it. I'm just like, this just doesn't make sense. Yeah, but doesn't it have to make sense to do that? Like to have the GoFundMe's and to have, you know, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't see what are they like? I feel, it's pretty apparent, like the lawsuits seem like it's all just an excuse to have content at this point. I mean, my gosh, can you imagine how big some of the channels could be if they put effort into actually doing something of substance? Because some people have grown a lot. Like I know a lot of people talk about, the lab and stuff like that. I don't know what his content used to be. I don't remember hearing him. I do remember other people. I just didn't know they were the same people, because people change their names and but I mean, his content is kind of, it grows. He's got a pretty, a very different group of chatters, right? Especially when he has like Dr. Gary on and, Mr. McDonough. And so some people have, but other people, I don't know. I'm like, is like weird? It's almost like, I don't know. I think everybody's doing a production. I'm starting to think the person that came to me a year ago after I went on to that panel and I didn't know what anybody was talking about. And of course, you couldn't get a word in edgewise. And of course, the live stream was deleted. So there was nothing I could say. I'm like, okay, can you play it, please? Because I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say that. Um, but that's what people kept saying. They're like, oh, well, people are filming and this is what they're going to do with this and they're doing this. I heard a couple different things, not about the missing kid, but about Crama, like trying to make it an actual, series. And I kind of thought, well, maybe because that body moving, don't fuck with cats thing, she was on these channels, she was on the TikTok with that Tony Mathis guy. And then she was over on the panel with Christopher, the stepdad, and she was with it was interesting. So I'm like, well, maybe, who knows? And but now I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe that's what's happening. But if that is what's happening, I don't think it's going to be very successful. Because I feel like people at this point, I mean, it's more than hypocrisy because it's gross. A lot of the stuff, it's like beyond vulgar. It's not, it's just, I don't know. Hi, KJ. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Well, I can't stand with anyone at this point because I don't know what, what anybody's doing. I can't even stand with the local searching and stuff because I was like, how many times have I asked, can I, get a bunch of the flyers or even the t-shirts? I mean, I live here. I mean, I should not have to even ask twice to get a bunch of flyers to hand out or a couple extra t-shirts. I mean, I made my own tote bags, but I didn't want to come live, right? I didn't want to live stream all the times that we were, actually trying to help. Um, but even all that, I'm like, is this all like this is all upside down and bizarre, and it's not going to change my opinion, you know? I mean, the stuff that happens when you're talking to people that live around this area of Tennessee does not reflect what you hear on the channels. It's odd, you know? The whole thing is ridiculous. And I don't know if I'm ever going to join a Discord. I only joined one Discord last year. And then because of the stupid bullshit, I got kicked out. And I joined it because I was like, oh, well, maybe I could find out more about this stuff and have interesting conversations about these different topics. Well, that didn't happen because somehow that got turned into content. I was like, what is going on? I still don't think a lot of people care for it, though. I mean, if you come to talk about a case and then you get nothing but cussing and or sexual talk or fighting or I mean, most of that is going to run the other way. But if you're looking for fictional reality TV drama on steroids, then you're going to get that audience, right? I don't know, maybe I could be seeing it totally wrong, but I just don't I really feel like some people I don't know. I don't know. Just I don't know how they're gonna get out of it in the end. Like I think they really destroyed their channels. But with how many people there are in this world, it's very easy to start over, right? And just make a whole new channel and just find new people. Nobody will ever know. Yeah, but it seems so fake, Casey. It just seems so fake to me anyway. It seemed fake for a while and very, you know, production like. Ever since the day I went on that panel and everybody was reading a script and what I knew to be reality, they were saying was not. And then it was like, this is just wild. It just seems very fake. Now, I'm sure not all of it is. But even the whole crap with people that, get all mad and everything, at the whole at night thing, I still don't understand what they did. They have their ex, they talk on their ex. And I mean, unless I missed it, I don't see them out all over, YouTube doing all kinds of things. I saw messed up stuff from the beginning of this all over the place before I ever even heard of Dog or Hong or Nick or any of those people. Well, I had heard of Dog, obviously, from years ago with the show, but I don't know how you get into the drama triangle. Like, how does it? I don't know. That's why it's weird. I think we'll find out eventually, you know, obviously. But to me, it's more of a production and it's not authentic. Because all the people that kept coming at me and asking me 1,000 questions and, they never really actually wanted to know what was going on or, figure anything out about anything to do with true crime. It was more like, to me, it seemed more like a production. And I don't know why nobody could just be honest about that. Oh, I've never heard of that. I'll have to check that channel out. Is that the name of the YouTube channel? Yeah, Mom of Three. I think so. I think it kind of really screwed with stuff because there was a lot of really bizarre things that, have gone on. I don't know why, but I don't think they were all the same, if that makes any sense. I think some people were doing things just to have fun. I don't know. It's very weird. Well, I know there's definitely one production of something going on. That I do know for a fact. I do know that. And but I know no, once I realized that people were doing things because this is how they were making content and you know, it doesn't take long like when you're actually, around people and you're talking to people to realize that something's disconnected, right? And there's something like majorly not, there's something wrong. There's something very wrong. Oh yeah. All of that stuff makes 100% sense to me, KJ. What doesn't make sense to me is all the people that just like to keep it going and stuff. That is just weird. All of the behind the scenes weirdness, and I don't know. I don't know. I think it's odd. But hey, maybe one day there'll be some diagnoses in the DSM-5 to come in the future years, I guess. I I don't know. It's so strange. I think for me, once I realized, what was going on for ourselves, and I knew I didn't have to be worried about, somebody running us off the road or whatever was going on in the real world of things before I started doing any content. It was very obvious to anybody in my personal circle and to the people that I know, in law enforcement and in the legal world and everything like that, that there was a disconnect, right? Because you don't have such critical, overly antagonistic, on some people that are nobodies, and then you have channels that are like, you got clips of chickens and all of this, and nobody's getting sued, nobody's getting, I mean, it all became very obvious, right? um but once I knew that my physical safety and my family's safety wasn't in danger by the people that everybody was trying to direct the attention to, it was like very, very much a weight lifted. But then I started to realize, oh, well, that's why this happened, because this person, it's, it's attention, it's money, it's, they wanted to sit with the cool people, and it's just crazy. But I think there will be a production of sorts when it comes to some of the antics that have played out on social media. I just don't think it's going to be that successful, because I think it's going to look really orchestrated, in my opinion, at this point. And yeah, I'll never understand it. And I don't even think people would. I don't even think people really even stepped out long enough to look at like what a mess this all kind of looks like. Oh, it's really boring now. It's really boring. I just think that it's not organic. It doesn't have the retention that people are trying to, say it has. I mean, you don't have a live stream and there's only, maybe 5 comments, but you had, 5,000 views. Like, I just don't think people are buying it, and I don't think people like it. I just don't. I mean, I could watch a lot of people for a while and I'm like, oh, even if this isn't real, I still like, I like their side of it. And I like their personality, you know. But I think the sudden switch of talking about missing kids and talking about true crime and then just doing all this stuff, it doesn't go together. Like, if you're here to really talk about cases and stuff, you don't want to all of a sudden be listening to people pretend to be drunk or pretend to fall asleep or pretend to drive by each other's houses and whatever all that was. Especially for me, because I'm like, well, wait a minute, who the hell called CPS on me? Why are you guys involving me? I'm not part of it. I didn't get paid. I didn't get a contract. I didn't get an NDA. I didn't get an explanation. I just moved here and all hell broke loose. I think it's kind of messed up. I do. I think it was really messed up. I know they come out of nowhere. I like, like, I somebody came up the other day, and it was funny because I was talking to my older son, and my older son was like, "Who's that?" They sound like literally, because they said, oh, I wasn't here, then I was on break." And I looked at him, and he was like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Well, it's supposed to be a live panel of people talking, but apparently they're on break for the season." I mean, it's just weird. It's not natural. Oh, yeah. People have been using bots and things like that for a long time. And a lot of it is like, the fake it till you make it stuff is fine. But it also can ruin your channel because eventually YouTube catches up with it. They catch up with it eventually. Sometimes it takes a while, but eventually they really do. And then you see these huge declines of numbers. Sometimes the channels will completely disappear. I do not believe the stuff about, oh, well, YouTube doesn't care. All they care about is money. I don't buy it. Let me see if I could pull that up for you guys. Do you know how many major channels that have brought in millions of dollars for YouTube? They have just completely taken off. They don't care. Not even every single true crime channel that's interactive combined would make a dent to YouTube for the money that they bring in from everything else. But I do think the bots are, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people all got trolled, if that makes any sense. Like they literally don't even, I don't know if some people have realized, um, but it's not good. It's not good. You want real people to talk to. Even if you don't know who they are, you still want real people. You want your channel to grow, you know. You don't want to ruin your channel. You don't want to risk losing your channel, right? There's not always going to be a story that you're going to be able to sign on to. And then where do you go from here? I don't know. It's strange. And I feel like all of us could script something so much more exciting for drama. Like this is just, to me, it's just like, it's not entertaining. It's gross. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's not, like just, I don't know. But it's a virtual fight that as soon as they pull out the next Uno card and they reverse it, and then they're sitting with each other, and then they're completely changing what they say they stand for. It's just, to me, it's not believable. I don't know. That's just me. And I could change my opinion tomorrow because my opinion changes all the time because you have no idea what's legitimate, what's not legitimate. Well, they are playing a game, right? But the thing is that it's not, it doesn't, I mean, when you have people that were so involved with a missing child's family, I just feel like I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to participate because this is my paranoia. I guess I get a little paranoid, but I would think I would be under like the scrutiny of the FBI for the next 50 years because they're going to think there's something not right with that one. You know? I mean, look at all the times that people pretend to go missing. Remember that girl, was it 2 years ago? I had all the names pulled up, but we'll have to talk about this tomorrow or because I'm probably gonna have to head to sleep soon. But she parked her car, pretended she saw a baby, you know. We had that other mom that hit her son. He did run away, but then he came back like 2 days later and she hit him till he was over 18 and they found him a year ago. Like, that's what I would think of the statistics of it, that I would be looking like I'm hiding kids or participating in hoaxes or, I don't know. That's just what I would think. But I don't think anybody's really getting exposed. Well, I guess in the moment, you think you're exposing a creator, but at the same time, it's not really who's watching. Like when I was thinking, like when we were doing numbers a couple months ago, it's like there's the odds of you ever running into somebody that's watched your channel in this genre. There's like hardly any of us. I think that Jay for Justice is the one that she has like 100,000 people, but how many people are really still around from all those years? Maybe 5,000, you know? Yes. Yeah, the botting, like, it's just, to me, the fake it till you make it is gonna kind of come crashing down, because at least if you were trying to build something up and you were more authentic about it and not acting like you already know that there's only a little amount to go around, so you have to keep it to yourselves, I think people would have been able to get a lot more, views, a lot more engagement, and come up with better things. So many of these channels, none of it's really exactly real, right? You see all, especially the family channels, and they have their pretend hide and seek, and they swap houses, and they do all kinds of stuff. The reason I think they have so many views is, yeah, people know that it's probably not real, right? But it's exciting, it's fun. You can have sad things, you can have, you know, dramatic things. This is like not fun. It just feels wrong because we all know it started, and it keeps bringing in a missing teenager's parents. Like, you can't have an opinion. We have parents that are still suspects. I mean, that's a reality. And you can't talk about anything because you're going to immediately, that's it. The creators are not going to want anything to do with you because they're working with one of the parents, and now you've offended their boss. That's what it comes across as during an active investigation. I can't imagine that. I would not want to be bringing that kind of heat on my family, my friends, my life, with how we know hoaxes have been, you know? Like, when I see that the update from the FBI has still not changed from 14 years old and stuff, I'm like, oh, this is not good. And everybody else is like, oh, they are not paying attention. I'm like, would you want to flip the bird at a bunch of investigators? I mean, Mr. and Mrs. E had a show once, and they talked about, and I haven't heard much of their stuff, but this show I caught the tail end of, and they were talking about different laws and how we break 3 or 4 laws a day without even knowing. There's all kinds of weird laws sometimes, right? Like, you cannot wear a yellow hat on Sunday, like, and I was like, I just can't imagine. Like, I would be concerned that if they can't find the missing child, just the fact that they have an autistic loved one, or they have gone through trauma, they're gonna they're not gonna stop looking. They're gonna know something's not right with you. And one day your taxes are gonna be audited, or I don't know, like, I'm just paranoid, I guess. Well, see, Casey, I didn't know that. I didn't understand the pay for play thing. I forgot that the PHP lady, when she was going on and on with that other guy years ago, they were like, oh, for $500. Like, I didn't understand any of that. I thought this was like a local kid that was missing where I was moving, right? Newsflash. No, it's not. It's a bunch of content creators. It's weird, whole thing's weird. Um, See, Holly, I've always thought that there's a major investigation, to be honest with you. I've always thought there's a big investigation because of the $50,000 reward, and because years ago there was so much talk about how, you know, um, a lot of stuff with, was it Summer Wells, I think? I just think when you have so much odd stuff, it takes a long time. And if he's alive, right? If he's alive somewhere, then I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. Well, normally I just don't watch something if I don't enjoy it, but I don't hold it against the creator, right? Because sometimes you do have people that are backing you or supporting you, and we might not, necessarily enjoy what they're talking about at the moment, and we have a different opinion or whatever. But the stuff that I've heard some people say, it's just, I don't want my name attached to that. Like, because I wouldn't have that in my life. And like I was cussing in the beginning of this, I'm not perfect. I'm not. None of us are. But I don't want to hear about lemons squirting on people's faces. I don't want to hear about people's sexual innuendos. I don't want to hear about their sex life. I don't want to I don't want to hear about people getting violated as children. I don't want to, that's not, you know what I mean? Like, no, for whatever reason. No. It's just too disturbing for me. Like, it's hard for me to look past that and they're like, oh, well, this person's a good person. You need to go hang out over there. No, it's okay. I'll stand alone. And if I'm not allowed on your chat anymore, it's fine because I only come in there to be nice to you. Because this is weird. You're talking about the same thing all the time. It's odd. It's not genuine. It's not genuine to turn on your camera and have to live stream handing out flyers. It's not genuine to only all get together for a pig fest because a stepdad had that on in an interview. You're making it look like you guys are involved in a hoax, in my opinion. You're making it look weird as hell, okay? It's weird. So, no, it's cool. I'll just stand alone over here. Sorry, I like Nick the Hat. He made me laugh. I thought that he was great at the marketing of getting Sebastian's name out there. I'm not going to change my opinion on that. Don't know the guy. Thought it was a good marketing tool. Don't understand why there hasn't been searches. I live here. So I don't see billboards everywhere, but I don't see anyone wanting to go out and search. I don't see anyone coming out and handing out flyers. We've handed them out. I mean, look at Sebastian's birthday. It fell on the parades, the Christmas parades. Gatlinburg has one of the biggest Christmas parades. Nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody did anything. It's just, I don't get it. I can't be fake like that, And it has nothing to do with the creator. But I like to make content. I hope to network. I want to get involved in having a show again. I want to be able to work with people, whether it's producers or whatever it is. So I'm not going to align with any of this just because it's weird. It's weird. And people spent the last year and a half, year, doing everything possible to scare me away from talking. Don't review this person. Don't talk about your feelings. Well, look, I live in Tennessee. I have nothing to worry about. My whole family's in the military. We're good. And I got Jesus. I'm good, guys. It's all right. You don't have to worry about me. Go ahead. Go make your money for your creators and have a nice day. It's fine. That's what I said, KJ. I can't help it. I don't I don't have a problem with them. I don't know them, but I haven't seen anything horrible that they've done. But I do know that when I was first following this case, I don't remember them being involved. The person I remember being involved was the body moving lady. I remember her on the TikToks. I remember people saying they were going in law enforcement's office and coming out and saying I remember a whole lot of stuff that we don't talk about. We're not allowed. It's supposed to be erased and forgotten. And I laugh at it because I'm like, the majority of the people that were following true crime, that's the stuff we remember, and we're the majority. The people that are hanging out now, in my opinion, most of them are not here because they were following the case. They're here because they've been playing in Crama and, all these different networks for a long time. That might be okay on the internet, but that doesn't cross over into like the totality of the case. So eventually, once time is settled and more information has come, you'll see Nancy Grace talk about it again. You'll see Dateline specials. We know how it goes, right? We've had cases in the past, and sometimes they're misrepresented horribly, and sometimes they're not. But I thought what Nick and them were doing was genius in the beginning. I really did. I thought it was a great way because you have such a hard time getting people to want to pay attention to cases like this because they're heartbreaking. They're awful, right? They usually end really bad, and it's not, And I just thought the way that they did it was catchy at first. But I don't see them really. I mean, everybody, it's like, oh, this is at night's fault. I'm like, who the heck is at night? They've always appeared like a fictional thing anyway, and they're not harming anyone. I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, I remember the beginning with the pastor and repent and all these things. And the guy calling into the show saying that his child was in school with Sebastian. I mean, that's when there was so many more of us listening and watching. So you can't erase it. It doesn't go away just because nobody talks about it. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. Everybody could be, the parents could be completely innocent. They could all be guilty. They couldn't, I mean, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I do know it has not come across natural when you have certain people that are able to go day after day and they don't get sued, they don't get spoken out about, nothing happens. But then you have some people, when they say something, it's the end of the world and they don't even have monetization, or they're not even, that's what makes it look like a paid production. And if you're the immediate family of the missing child, I would kind of think that you're being investigated, and everybody that's around it. Why? Because I've enjoyed true crime. I've learned about it my whole life. Maybe a lot of people that are watching, because they didn't come from true crime, or, like the legal tube, where we get to watch the lawyers talk. Maybe they weren't up to speed on some of that, so they don't realize that. But that's like when I talk to people here randomly, right? That's what everybody here says. They're like, isn't that just the weirdest thing? I think he's alive and he's had a family, or it's just so polar opposite of what you see on here. So I'm like, who is giving you advice? Because it's odd advice. I don't know. I sure as hell wouldn't have gone after me or said a word about me because I was a real mom, really actually thinking the kid was missing. I would have taken me off of this script or whatever, or I would have had decency to fill me in that some people were doing things just to try to get a roost because they wanted to make money off of it. That would have been nice to know, because I was scared shitless for quite some time, because some of the stuff that was going on was before I ever was talking on YouTube. That was the reason I thought those couple people were real local people. I didn't know they were creators. I had no idea they were creators. I thought they were real people. So my stupid ass, excuse my French, reached out. I'm like, oh my God, maybe they could tell me what this is and why is this happening? I mean, I remember learning about all the children that were missing from Tennessee and CPS investigations about CPS losing the kids. Like, that stuff was real. And then to find people that are like, oh no, traffic of children and all this stuff isn't happening. And, it's like, really? Because it does happen a lot. And it's disturbing. And I don't think we should turn the other cheek if somebody's acting inappropriately. Oh, yeah, I just don't want to talk about it. Well, that's the thing though, Mama Fairy, right? I feel like a lot of people have almost made it like there's not, and that is not okay because there's really stuff going on and it's horrible. And to not highlight the dangers and to ignore immediate signs of somebody that might be involved in that. There is a lot of stuff that goes with profiling, which is why I enjoy listening to Chris McDonough and Dr. Berry. And, when Josh at the lab has them on, and even Josh's, perspective on certain things, because it's not a joke, you know, things really are happening to children. Things really are happening to people online all the time. People are being, put in situations that they're completely unaware of. And when you're trying to turn that into something that doesn't exist, it's not good. None of it's illegal, obviously, but yeah, I mean, if I don't think that he intended for all that. Whatever this ends up being or whatever happens, maybe it would have been handled differently. I don't know. But I do agree with that, KJ and Mom of Three. I mean, I don't honestly know if the guy even knows some of the crap that was happening in people's real lives, because as far as everybody acts, it wasn't really happening. But I can assure everybody it was. I had some very not okay things go on. And that does happen, right? You're going to have people that go extra when you're a creator. When I did the promotional modeling and marketing, we even had to be careful. We had security and things, and you learned, safety and situational awareness. Stuff does happen, but there was just a connection and the constant discussion of the lookalike with one of my children and stuff. And it didn't have anything to do with YouTube because I hadn't come back to creating content yet. I wasn't panel hopping. And oh, so disturbing. I don't know. I don't honestly think a lot of people truly know about some of the weird stuff that people experienced because it was constantly, especially if you know somebody's full of crap and they're just reading a script and they all have NDAs and they all signed on to something, then of course you're going to think, oh, well, then, that was in their script. That's not really happening to so and so. But you should know it is because it's part of the internet. Stuff like that does go on, and we shouldn't be supportive of it. And if we are supporting that, I just don't support anybody calling any officials and all of that on people unless you have no alternatives. Like it has to be something completely 100% worth knowing that it's essential to call because I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. I'm not getting the words I want to say out properly, but I just think it's really it's just to pretend that you really care about certain things and then to just not care, that some people might actually be putting in harm's way, that you're so focused on trying to one up each other because you're all playing. I don't get it. It's just not normal. I don't know. It's not. Because I don't think there was ever a side. I think everybody's being hoodwinked, and I think we're going to see it on Netflix, potentially, in my opinion, at this point. I know. I mean, I was already labeled a psycho because, wow, I actually wanted to keep things that I thought could be part of a real investigation off the internet. I'd be darned. But as far as everybody else goes, I mean, please, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Oh, yeah. And I think that the thing I don't understand is people that get so upset about being reviewed and stuff like that. That's ridiculous. If it's upsetting you, then you turn it off. Don't watch it. But to me, some people, it's when it's the same thing over and over and over. It's pretty obvious that, that's just part of the character that they're playing. And I just don't see anybody that's without the same level of fault. And like I said, if I had any idea from the beginning of this, if it wasn't for the move and some of the weird stuff, my gosh, I would never have treated anybody as if they were genuinely here as a regular person. I would have treated everybody the way that I always viewed manufactured content. I mean, you see it all the time on YouTube. But I thought these were genuine people, regular moms and regular, guys that were just looking to talk. And I don't know. I don't know how I fell for it, to be honest with you. I guess lack of sleep and stress. I don't know. Yeah, and you know what? The thing, Casey, that's so odd is like nobody talks about that. And it's funny because one of the local moms that we go to the park and stuff, she was talking about that the other day. She's like, "Do you remember in the beginning there was another lady? I don't remember her channel, but she was going out and she was live streaming a lot. And there's a lot of people that lived here that were regular, just going out and searching and live streaming and sharing their 2 cents. And she was like, that was it for me. She was like, I started to really getting conspiratorial when everybody was trying to act like that was normal and you were crazy. She was like, in what world? In what world is that behavior normal? In what world is YouTubers talking about blood and bones at was it Natchez Trace State Park, where they were all videoing? Was that the name of it? That part that was closed down after the tornado. And this one lady was like, and there was a dog hit supposedly. And anyway, it was just interesting because I forgot about that, right? I totally forgot about that search when everybody got together. Was it April, I think? I don't remember, but it was so funny because it was so random. I mean, no, it's not funny, right? None of this is funny, but when she brought that up, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right, like, because if you're talking about true crime, there's just certain things that you would think everybody would be like, hello, what's up with that? And instead, it was like, oh my God, that woman's insane. She's so mean. And I never gave people's real names when I found out their names and things. I never talked about their personal lives. I never talked about any of their, nothing. Um, no, none of that. But with that situation, that was totally different because that was not something that you wanted. You don't want somebody with a criminal history, thinking, oh, it was just a bad mess. It's just a mess. It was a mess because I don't even think that a lot of people know about those, the back and forth and what was going on in those other channels. And then once you realize that people clone people, you have to ask yourself, do they even realize that, their content was being put out there? Did they not intend for the content to be out there with the general public? Because thousands of people were looking at it because it was being shared on that other account. But I think one day it'll make a lot more sense, you know, some of it anyway. Yeah, I don't know about whatever happened with all of that because from what I was told, there was nobody that passed there or anything like that. I don't even know when law enforcement got there. Who knows? Oh, yeah. I don't think all of it's orchestrated, but I think some of it is just because I've been told like flat out certain things. And it's like, really? I don't know why people would do that because, you know, I mean, that's where lawsuits actually can happen when you didn't sign a contract and you didn't agree. And then, you're slandered and causes you, you know, heartache and you're scared. And I don't know. But that's the stuff that, that people, bring up because that's when so many people were watching. So when you go back to the beginning of stuff like that, when a lot of people were tuning in to it and looking and searching and stuff, and then you hear somebody saying, like, oh no, it was just, at night came in the summer or whenever last September and everything was destroyed. And it's like, wait a minute. Actually, there was all kinds of stuff going on the entire time, in my opinion. But I don't necessarily like I said, I don't know if you heard earlier, I do not want to be associated with dog piling on, to the whole thing with, her falling asleep or if she's on substances, because I don't know. And I don't want to talk about things that I don't know. And I wouldn't talk about it publicly anyway, because I don't think the dog piling is good. I didn't realize how many channels, were partaking in that either. And at the same time, I don't, I think that it is an agreed upon thing that a lot of people have agreed to do over the years, because it brings in the money. I just think it's sad because I think it's gone the opposite direction. I don't think the retention is there anymore. I think it's pretty bad. Um, but yeah, you can turn it off and you don't have to be hypocritical, you know? But the constant trying to say that people are with this person or that person, or it's like, well, I have to say something because if I get one more email, and that's the thing, it's like, okay, so the emails, a lot of those people are genuine. Like this one lady was telling me that it doesn't matter whatever this channel says or does because they owe them so much because they were afraid to leave their house for a long time. And I mean, it was just a really sad story. And I think it was a legit story, although it could be fake, but I could see it being legitimate. And they were just like, so I need to know that you got their back because if it wasn't for them, so many of us would be suffering. And I'm just like, no, I don't have any backs of anybody other than where's these missing kids? They're the reason that a couple people said that they came here, right? And I don't think that any of us should be forced to agree or defend somebody that we don't know and we don't know what the angles are. But oh gosh, I've got so many. It's so bizarre. And you know what's funny, Mom of Three? They come, a lot of it is in waves, which is how I was like, oh my gosh, this is some of it you could tell was is a production because it's in waves, you know? And automatically if somebody is signed on to a narrative for some reason because they don't want to talk about anything else. It's a natural, organic conversation about, any kind of case that you're discussing or any topic based on talking about the whole topic. But once you're getting so defensive about something, it's obvious. And a lot of the people when they email, they're very defensive. It's like you agree immediately, right? And it's like, no, I'm not going to go against reality. And I'm like, it's like they have a job to do. And that job is to get you to fall in line or go away. Yeah, but it's not, though, right? It's not, I mean, in a virtual civil war, people wouldn't be making money off of it, right? I feel like it would be more genuine. It just, and you guys are probably right. Just to me, it seems so fake. I just can't help but just be honest. A lot of this just seems really fake. Yeah, it can be lonely at times, but it's only lonely if you allow people, like, especially like with the views, right? Because you had the botting of channels, and then you also had the organization of the different reality TV stuff coming into play. So you had a bunch of people being directed to all the different channels at first, and but if you just keep pushing, like I like to multi-stream, and the other platforms doing well, you'll fall into the right place. There's plenty of people out here, and I think if people could do that, they'd be happier, and not focus on who's gonna give you, a pat on the back today, because it's not gonna be there tomorrow, right? It's the internet. And then that's the sad part, is that one thing that I think pulls on the heartstrings of all of us is when you're using the most vulnerable. You don't expect this. It's like getting sideswiped, right? You would never expect people that are out there, searching for a vulnerable child, acting like, they never leave their house and they're so worried, and they to turn into any of this. So for that, I do think that there are real people that genuinely have an attachment, and they have been manipulated into giving their money or giving their emotions and their time and their energy to something that doesn't exist. But I just think for like the larger majority, if there's other people that were allowed to speak on it, or if people cared to watch, because I just think a lot of people just leave. I mean, there's just there. Um, I just don't think this is a successful production, so to speak, whatever it is that's coming, or multiple things. I think people will look back and they'll look at the whole I can't talk, totality, and be kind of horrified. I don't know, but I could be completely wrong. Well, that's what I think, Casey, because I mean, but I haven't looked enough to honestly form an opinion. I don't think it's rugs. I know what it's like to have a crazy schedule. I believe she also shares a child with autism. It is different. And I mean, the baby still gets up several times a night because he has nerve ending issues from a botched surgery. And until he can talk to the doctor and tell the doctor what he's feeling, this is what we're dealing with. So there's times that I'm tired, but usually you have a little bit of a warning, right? However, after I was hit, I was sitting at a red light right after I had the baby, and it messed up my neck so bad, the whiplash and everything. And then when I would sit in a certain position, I would go unconscious, literally. But I knew it was happening, and I was panicking. And I found out from my doctors and, from the neurologist, that it can happen to anybody. It can happen from scoliosis, from a bunch of different things. If anything, that's what I hope she goes and gets checked out, you know? I really do. Because I do think something's going on, and I don't like to see anybody suffer. But I don't think this is right. I think this is wrong. I just think it's just too much. Because you have no idea, like, what gives anybody the moral high ground to talk about, like, it's just hypocritical. I don't know. And that's why I don't think it's the person. I do think people are just signed on to something, and now they're just trying to fix it. I don't know. Because I do like a lot of people's personalities. And I just don't think we're getting people's authenticity. I feel like people got wrapped up in some sort of a show of sorts. Well, I think she needs to get checked out for whatever it could be. Everybody should put their self first, right? I think it's important. for sure. The one thing that has always concerned me about when I've, tuned into different shows over the years is how many people have channels. Some people have, very large followings, so to speak, couple 100,000, and their own family and friends don't even watch it. They don't even know it's there. A good friend of mine is a pretty big, influencer. I think she has like 400,000 subscribers now. And most of the people in her regular life don't even know about that channel. They wouldn't even know. That bothers me. I'm like, well, as long as people know, that you're having a rough time for whatever reason in your real life. And sometimes we go through things, especially when we have children, especially when we have, unique abilities and special needs children, where we're disconnected from our real loved ones, our real friends, and we get very isolated, and you don't even realize. So that's why I try to be more prayerful because I am a believer. I know some people take offense to that, but that's all I can do. I have, positive intentions or saying prayers that there is people in their lives that can make sure they're all right with whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, this is YouTube. It's not our freaking business. I don't think it's our business to go into people's real lives. I think we should be, even like when Josh reviews people, and stuff like that, I think the way that he does it is fair. It's like they're out here, they're doing content. He's not rude and, cruel. Um, maybe it could be beneficial and helpful to some people's life. Maybe it does good. But in certain instances, I don't think it does any good. If you know somebody's going through a hard time for whatever reason, you're never going to convince the majority of people that that person is bad when you've said all kinds of atrocious things. You have parents dressing up as each other, making a mockery of a child that disappeared, all the stuff that's happened, and then you guys all dogpile onto one person. You can't erase it, in my opinion. You just can't erase history. There's no right here. It's just how I feel, you know? I just think it's all shitty. But I also know that some people have no problem completely lying for no reason on people that are not part of anybody's networking. They don't talk to anybody. So I don't know what to believe sometimes. I'm like, unless I hear somebody say it myself, I don't know that it really happened. Because I know people kept saying I said something that I never, ever, ever said, and they'll never show the receipt, so to speak, because it doesn't exist. And it's fine. Karma's real. It's not about us, right? It's about the missing kid that they all claim that they were here for. And hopefully there's justice and answers for that eventually. But no, I mean, I don't want to team up on anybody. But I also think, it's very obvious to me that people are in their own agreements and they're doing their own things because there's no genuine networking. There's something just so amiss that if you've been a creator and if you understand the internet when it comes to making content, there's just certain things that are such red flags that I don't know. It's just odd. I do think people might, hi, Justice Jane, how are you? I do think some people, maybe many people, have been lied to and they're scared. They don't know, you know, legalities. And I think some people might be doing what they signed on to without knowing they signed on to it. Um, I don't know. It's possible. But yeah, all the emails and stuff I think are just people that have no idea. They don't know. They're they're totally manipulated. No, it was me, but the first comments nobody saw, so I thought that was odd because somebody answered me there was a comment that was said before that. But you got to remember, Mom of Three, they've been pretending that I'm in these channels under other names and stuff for a long time. And I've just had it. It's like if you're going to lie and use me for content behind the scenes and on the scenes and whatever, then I might as well actually speak my mind every once in a while, you know? Because I am, I was a little offended. I have a personal issue when I actually had real life stuff going on that is well documented. And I live here, and anybody could come watch the videos and see the CPS and all the crazy shit that was happening in our life for no reason. Because it sure wasn't coming from just your average viewer, right? It was up to me. It was very calculated. And people are acting like, oh, because they're using it for content. I don't know. I don't want to get into it yet. It'll all come out in time, I feel, to be honest. I do think a lot of things are going to come out of a lot of fakery. Um, I think that was his name. I've seen him a couple times. I don't even know who he is, but they had said something, and um I just remembered, like, we've all been there over the years, right? Like, I remember watching Brittany and I didn't know it was the same person at the time. And I was just like, just don't engage, and they stop. It's when you start making content, you learn the rules really quick. When all of these types of things started online, it used to be the gaming channels, and there used to be all these trolling and all these raids that they would do. And it's the same tactics. If you don't respond and you ignore it and you don't address the comments and you don't address it, they go away. They go to somebody else. They're not going to waste their time. That's not what they're there for. As long as you block it out and you don't engage, they'll move on. And I'm not condoning when everybody signed on to something either, but it is your choice to continue to participate. You didn't see me coming back out here immediately. I mean, I rarely addressed how many shows did Clue do on me? I mean, that whole panel when I was moving, a couple channels did all kinds of stuff and used me as content several times, making all kinds of things up. Did I go back and forth? No. So it's just, I forgot what the comment was. I probably tried to screenshot it. I could check tomorrow and tell you guys next time I come on. And that's why I was just like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because she's not going to, right? She's made a conscious decision for whatever reason that this is how she's gonna make the channel now. I think it's sad. I think people have ruined an amazing opportunity to have large channels and have something to be really proud of. And I could be totally wrong, right? I mean, look, I was very wrong on everything in the beginning. I mean, I bought things hook, line, and sinker. I thought Seth was in a video outside the house. I believe Bobby and them when they're like, oh, yes, he's on video. So I could be totally wrong. But I personally think all these channels are done. I think they're all going to be gone, in my opinion. And to me, that's sad because you can come back and make a channel, but it's not as easy as it used to be to get that 1,000 subscribers. Some people might have been able to get these authentic bot channels, right? But technology has come leaps and bounds, and they take channels down constantly. I think it's kind of a red flag that channels haven't been taken down, in my opinion. I'd be worried it's because there's some sort of an investigation, but I could be completely wrong, and people could stay for a long time and make success out of the same old, same old. I just don't think so, and I think it's sad. Because some people, I just like their personality. Even they could be polar opposite when they turn that camera off, right? It's kind of like sports and actors, actresses, musicians. We don't know who they really are. Oh, yeah. I mean, one time I said, she was upset about something, and I was like, oh, I was like, you have to let us know when you open the friend applications. And she was like, oh, no, I don't take any friend requests. It's not going to happen. It's like, okay. Like everybody acts like like their shit doesn't stink. And I just laugh because I know I can make a channel. I don't need anybody's help. We could all do it. I've done it before. I had a channel with 32,000 subscribers. It's not hard. I don't want that. I want a genuine communication and conversation. I don't want to come on here and be fake. I didn't want to screw with a real life case of the missing child, you know? Um, but yeah, none of them have been nice to me, but it's fine. Karma will get everybody in the end. It's gotten me tons of times throughout my life. And now my give a damn is broken, and I don't care who I upset and who I offend. And, you know, I'll just keep making my channels and until I don't want to. But for now, I enjoy it and it's my respite. And I know there's tons of people like me out there. I've come across them many times and I'll find the right people and we'll sit there and we'll talk about all this in past tense eventually. I really think so. And I did give everybody the opportunity to talk to me privately. I tried. I did try. No, mom of three, I can't either. And I think that's the thing is that that's how everybody knows to make money right now. And if you know, you're left like thinking that you entered some sort of bipolar universe. But I appreciate all of you hanging out. I forget sometimes to stream over here because I've been using this. I canceled the Streamlabs. I was wasting money on that. Um, but that's the cool thing about the internet now, right? You can have multiple YouTube channels. You can have a TikTok. You can have it streaming in different places. And eventually I'll talk about the other channel on this channel. It's just I don't want it destroyed right now. I have kids that I do need to financially support, and I can actually make money off of making content and still sleep at night, then I'll do it, you know? But I have to be able to sleep with my conscience clear. I can't, you know, we all have to make decisions. And one day this will come out of the mess that it got hit with of all the bots and all the fakery. But that's psychological manipulation that's used to have some people think that things are actually successful. But don't let it fool you. Pay attention to the way people talk. How old are the channels? When you see, I mean, it just, to me, it's just, I feel sorry for people and I don't know why, but I do. And I don't have any ill will towards anyone, really. There's only one creator that I've stumbled on that I genuinely just don't like. I just think they're nasty and mean. And it's none of the major people. I don't necessarily think anybody has really bad intentions out of any of the people that we've watched. The larger people, like the main people, like Elevated Truth, Brittany, the main channels, I guess, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, I've encountered it over the years, and normally it's easy to get rid of KJ. You just block them, But I want to wait for the productions to wrap up and stuff, and then we'll see what happens. But that's kind of how you can tell. It's like what's genuine, organic, and what's not, you know? Yes, Casey, so do I. It's pretty obvious to me for most of it, to be honest. I just I don't know. I think it's gotten a little weirder at times, potentially, with some people. Maybe multiple different things. I don't know. But my gosh, when there's a real kid missing, I would not want to be treating the genuine people the way that I've been treated and other people have been treated, because I would be too afraid that I'd be under some like lifelong investigation because it looks so shady. I'm just saying, it's weird. Somebody should have been, filled me in a little bit on what the hell was going on here privately. I mean, geez, I'm a resident. People could get in legal trouble for harassing and stalking and stuff. Like when there's a missing kid and you're chit-chatting about another kid that looks like the kid, and it's just not smart. I don't know. It's just weird. Thank God nobody got in trouble and caught up in the heat of things, and that I have restraint and that I actually care about others. Because obviously, if I could get over actually giving a darn about the reason that I came to talk about true crime, we'd all be in there. Just sad. I just wish the best for everyone. But I mean, there's only so long that you can fake, your opinion, especially when it's the blatantly obvious opinion. And other people keep telling you no. It's like, okay, well, now I guess we really can't, I thought we were sort of having a friendship, and now I know that there's no way this is a real, genuine anything because you keep trying to tell me something that's not possible. Like you're being, especially like people, they call you and they're recording. Oh, it's just nuts. It's nuts. Everybody knew in the beginning too, when if you reached out to me, I was trying to figure out what was happening in real life. And they're like, oh, like you don't call people as a weirdo when the majority of us are watching this guy in the woods and all this weird stuff going on. And it's just, the whole thing was weird. Just weird. But I think I'll head to bed too, mom of three, because it's 2:30. Yep, it's kind of cliche, but it's like the hurt people, and we all screw up, we do. We all make mistakes, but man, I do think like some of the shit that went on, pardon my language, really, if people genuinely know some of the real life stuff that was happening to people and they're okay with it, then I don't know. Then I wouldn't put it past them to do hoaxes and God knows what else. But I like to think that a lot of people truly didn't know. That's what I hope anyway. But thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll be on again soon. Oh, yeah, KJ. It's just wild. Just wild. Oh, such a shame, mom of three. Look, the narrative I want to stick to, and that's what me and the friend of mine were talking about at the park. We want to hope that he is okay, right? And they don't know how to just reintroduce him because this got so out of hand. that people don't know how to bring him back out. That's what we want to hope for. None of us want to hope that he was hurt, especially at the hands of his own family or anything, you know? None of us. But my gosh, guys, I can't wait to find channels again where you can talk without being forced into an opinion. And hopefully I could be that channel sometimes if there's an interesting case where we're not getting dogpiled or blocked or scared if we don't agree with somebody else. And what a boring world if we all agreed. I never want to be in an echo chamber. It's boring for me. So, and like I always say, if anybody wants to collaborate or do a show or anything like that, just email me 411cchan@gmail.com. And I wish everybody the very best. And I'll see y'all soon. And I totally understand if you can't chat right now. I get it. I don't know, Turbo. That's why it seems a little bit like they're doing a job. Because it's just a little bit more than the old-fashioned trolling and gaming people and all that stuff, you know? But I could be totally wrong. And this could just be, I don't know. I never thought people would be buying their way onto fictional islands and stuff. And I was hearing people buying eggs for that other guy's show the other day. Oh, we're voting this person on the island. Everybody's got their forte. But I can tell you, to the regular people, when I talk to them, a lot of them are like, this is shady. This isn't normal. And I'm like, I have no idea. No clue. But take it easy and thank you all for swinging by. Have a great night. Thanks, Justice Jane. Take care. Bye, Mom of Three and Casey, Turbo, and Paperclip, and everybody over there. Oh, I forgot. I have my little song. I love this thing. This little song thing. Good night or good day.
Are they actors or are they crooks? Hiding their tracks with suspicious looks. Crime scene clowns making it up, spinning their webs in a paper cup. Are they actors or are they crooks? Hiding their tracks with suspicious looks. Momming it up, she's calling it out. Truth in her words, no shadow of doubt. While they rehearse their scripted screams, she's digging deep into real themes.
Lights flashing in the shadows glow. Truth buried under plastic show. Kids are lost, but the ratings grow. Scripts in hand, hearts on ice, selling pain with a sugar slice. How low can you go? How low can you go? Turning tears into a twisted show. I won't play, I won't stoop low, so I stand alone. Yeah, I stand alone. Yeah, I stand alone. Playing games with know I won't break, I won't follow, so I stand alone. Yeah, I stand